Hey guys, what's up? It's Mando from Mando Reviews, and today I'm going to be reviewing the movie American Sniper. So, American Sniper, I've been so psyched for this movie ever since I saw the first trailer. It was really cool to see him hesitate whether or not to shoot a kid, and it's just like tense, and it's scary, and I don't even think that I would be able to do that in a video game, let alone real life. And to see that put on screen into a full feature-length movie, that whole sense of hesitation, that whole sense of what am I doing, is it right, but yet it's my job, that's awesome. So Bradley Cooper plays Chris Kyle. He's the most lethal American sniper in US history. I believe that he has almost 160 to 200 confirmed kills, and that is ridiculous. Cooper does a great job in this film, and it really proves that he can do almost anything with his acting. He was a soldier in American Sniper, he was in a dramedy in Silver Linings Playbook, he was Rocket Raccoon in Guardians of the Galaxy. This guy is just talented. So like I said, he plays the American sniper Chris Kyle, and what this movie is about is it's just a biography that's following Chris Kyle from his beginnings to being the most lethal sniper in American US history. You see him start the movie with his dad and his rifle making his first hunt, and then you see him in college doing some things, and then you see him having a girlfriend, but then you really start seeing him when he starts to train for the Navy SEALs. According to him, he's going through all this rigorous training for 3 reasons, and those 3 reasons are to protect his country, for his family, and for faith. He's a very southern, down-to-earth type of guy, and those are really the only 3 things that he cares about, and those are the things that propel him forward to do the things that he does, but to him, he's just doing his job, and to others, he is a true hero. And so yeah, if you look at it from a far perspective, that's all this movie is really about. It's just him and his experiences in war and at home, coming from war, coming back to home, things like that. But this movie does it differently, and Eastwood's direction really does show, if anything, that on the edge of every single bullet that he takes, he has the chance to stop a beating heart. Never before in a war movie have I been so attached to a character and been so engrossed just in the fact that he is literally killing people and his teammates can actually die with him too. I think that the last war movie that I saw was Lone Survivor, and it was good. Mark Wahlberg did a good job. It was intense. It did capture that essence of war, but just really the violence part. It didn't capture that emotional aspect, and to the point where even just 20 minutes later, I couldn't remember any of their names. It's just not memorable. That type of stuff doesn't connect with me. But then you have films like American Sniper, and it's all about Chris Kyle. It's all about his journey. It's all about his thoughts, what he's going through, the effects that the war has on him, and that is awesome. You see him hesitate a lot. You see him really think about it, and every time he makes a kill, his eyes drop, he takes a deep breath, knowing what he did. And it's very difficult in a way to see that. You don't see a lot of gore, you don't see a lot of action, but yet you feel the emotional trauma of him having to take another life and him having to continue on doing that because that's his job. And the worst part about this is the movie also does a great job of showing his home life, and yet how when he comes back from war, it shows that post-traumatic stress disorder, and it really shows how after every tour, he's not the same person. Every time that he comes back home from that 9 months, he becomes a little farther and farther of the man that he used to be. And the real way that you know this is looking at his wife and looking at the relationship that they have over time. The movie does a great job at showing the relationship between a couple and how where one has to go to war, what the effects on the other will be. She's anxious, she's nervous, she doesn't know if her husband will come back in one piece. She doesn't know if her husband will even come back at all. And me watching that and me trying to put myself in her shoes, it makes me feel that. So not only am I caring for Chris Kyle, I'm caring for his wife. And then later in the movie, I'm caring for everybody else that he even sees, everybody who means something to him, I care about. That's what makes an awesome war movie, is developing that connection and developing that feeling that I actually care for the person to come home. If you know the story of Chris Kyle before going into the theater, then you know that it doesn't have a happy ending, and never before have I had this experience in the theater. As the credits rolled and the movie was coming to a close, nobody talked. Walking out of the entire theater, walking out of the theater building, everybody was dead silent. Some people I saw were even in tears. It's intense, and it really hits you. And as I was driving home in my car and thinking how I would opinionate myself towards this movie, kind of what score I would give it, what things I liked, what things I didn't, I also looked at some other critics' review and agreed with them too. This movie does a lot of awesome things, and it really builds that connection, but yet it's a war movie. You've seen a lot of these things before in other war movies. You've seen PTSD in other movies before. You've seen shooting, you've seen violence, you've seen the emotional trauma that it causes to a person, but yet American Sniper just does it differently in some way. It executes it really well, and I think the reason that it does that is because it has a strong, centralized character that you don't see in a lot of other war movies. Chris Kyle is in the shot almost 100% of the time, and by the end of the movie, you almost feel that he was like your brother, that he was your friend. And so for a movie to be able to affect me personally in that way, I have to make an opinion for myself, and I believe that this movie is a strong 8.75. I've never had this experience in a war movie before, let alone any movie where just the entire audience is shaken up and the entire audience is affected in some way. The movie is very intense and it's very emotional, and it makes you think. Even when I went home and I thought about playing a violent video game, I thought, you know what, that's actually pretty violent and that's some real stuff. This stuff really happens, and taking another person's life isn't something to be taken lightly. I've never felt that message so strongly before from a movie, and that's why I like this movie so much. So thanks for watching my review of American Sniper. I thought it was really good, and it was one of the more unique war movies that I've seen. If you like what you saw, subscribe, leave a comment below to let me know what you think, and if you want more reviews or things like this, then follow me on Twitter at Mando Reviews. Thanks for watching.